Okay, hi guys, are you all back? Yes. Correct. Okay. Mm, okay, I was just replying to a few students. I think some of them have done really, really well. There was a district second, there was a district 13. Uh, that's actually nice to hear. And there were students with Z scores of more than two also. Good news overall, but there were some students I think they would have expected a little bit more but would have not gone. There was one student that I saw. He had a A for econ and two C's for business and accounting. That again, I felt bad. Right, if he was a student who could have got a A for one subject, definitely could have pushed for the others. So probably was there. I think during the fast track and the revision programs that we did. Don't know what went wrong, so you can't really say how it went and all of that. No, because they only give you the grade where it went wrong, what happened, we don't know. So we'll see. There are still uh I I don't think everyone had texted me. I'm getting a lot of calls. I didn't answer any of that because if I answer, it will go on and on and on. But overall, things have been okay. Things have been good. I hope that you all will also continue to do really, really well. And remember, guys, give it your best shot. But at the end of the day, again, remember, it's just an exam. But given that I said it's just an exam, don't take it lightly. Give it everything you have. At the end of the day, remember you did everything. This is the best that you could. So you accept what you get, right? See if you want to, what you can do with it, and you move on. There is no point, after you are done with results and all of it and regretting and looking back, then there is no point. If you have to do something, it has to be now. So give it everything you have for the next, I know you all have around 1 year. So give it everything you have for this 1 year. And after that, don't worry about it. I should have studied more. No, this, no, that, no, that doesn't make a difference. Okay. So that's what I wanted to tell you all. So I'm hoping that, your batch will also do really, really well. And there would be district ranks to island ranks to, all of that from your batch too. Okay. So with that said and done, we'll get into the paper. It's 5:44 already. Maybe if I can't finish the entire paper, I will not rush it. I will do another part of it, probably on another day. Maybe on the weekend if I find some time, or maybe on next week on Monday before the class. Will take the first half an hour and we'll do it. So I'm not going to rush the whole thing. We'll see what we can do for the next 45 minutes until around 6:30. Okay, right. We'll get into this. Where were we? Any of y'all guys, any of y'all that you all know who has done really, really well? Hmm? Anyone with really good EZ scores, island ranks, district ranks? It's no. Bio, math, arts, any stream? Right, never mind. So we'll get into revision paper number 4. So the focus area is on PPC, opportunity cost, and production, allocative efficiency, and all of that. So we'll start off with question number 1. This is an interesting question that you all can learn a lot. Yes, Savina was my student. Okay, right. So we'll see what can we learn from this case. Look at this. They say if the economy changes, the following diagram shows a PPC for cloth and rice. They say if the economy changes its production point from point A to point B, they're going from A to B. They're increasing the production of rice, decreasing the production of cloth. If they move from point A to B, which of the following statements about opportunity cost of cloth and rice is correct? Guys, look at this diagram and tell me what does this diagram represent? Increasing opportunity cost or decreasing opportunity cost or constant opportunity? Overall, this diagram represents what? overall it represents increasing opportunity cost. That's clear now, guys. Overall, this diagram represents increasing opportunity cost. Now that is the tricky part here. So can you say, right? What did you go with as an answer, guys? Number one says opportunity cost of rice increases and opportunity cost of cloth decreases. Cost of rice decreases, cloth increases. Opportunity cost of both rice and cloth increases. Opportunity cost of both rice and cloth decrease. Opportunity cost of rice increases while that of cloth is left unchanged. What can you say, guys? Now, this is why I put this MCQ. I want you all to learn this point properly and get this into your head. Remember, guys, on a PPC that has increasing opportunity cost, think very carefully. Listen, don't write anything. After I'll tell you all what to write. On a PPC that has increasing opportunity cost, if you, let's say, okay, produce more and more rice, okay, if you produce more and more rice, the opportunity cost for producing rice increases. What happens when you go from point A to B? The opportunity cost of producing rice. Opportunity cost of producing rice increases when you're going from where? When you're going from A to B, when you're producing more and more and more and more rice, what happens? The opportunity cost of producing rice increases. That is clear now, guys. The more and more you produce, you have to sacrifice more and more of the other good. So every time you increase rice by little by little by little by little by equal quantities, you have to sacrifice more and more. So opportunity cost of producing rice increases. Then, guys, so opportunity cost of rice increases. Remember, opportunity cost is what you are sacrificing. Opportunity cost is what you're letting go. So when you go from A to B, when you're producing more and more rice, you have to sacrifice more and more cloth. Is that clear, guys? Opportunity cost of rice is increasing. Yes, no. Okay. So once again, to summarize, guys, simply think, what is opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is what you're sacrificing, right? So just see, let's say we are going from, okay, now let's say here to here, here to here, right? Here to here, here to here, here to here, here to here. The more and more and more and more rice you produce, what happens to the amount of cloth that you have to sacrifice? What happens? The more and more rice you produce, what happens to the cloth that you sacrifice? The amount of cloth that you sacrifice increases, right? So first you might sacrifice very little cloth. Then you might sacrifice a bit more cloth. Then a little bit more cloth, right? It goes on, no? So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say the opportunity cost of producing rice increases when you're going from A to B. When you're producing more and more rice, you have to sacrifice more and more cloth. Sacrificing more and more cloth is the opportunity cost of rice, right? Now remember, opportunity cost of rice doesn't mean you're sacrificing rice. Opportunity cost of rice is cloth. So when you're going from A to B and you're producing more and more rice means you have to sacrifice more and more cloth. So therefore, I am saying number one, opportunity cost of producing rice increases. Do you all agree with that? When you're going from A to B, you have to sacrifice more and more cloth. So therefore, opportunity cost of rice is increasing. Take some time and think, as it is a little confused. Then also I want you to know, yes, if I move from, I'll tell you the other way. If I move from B to A, what can you say? Opportunity cost of producing what is increasing? If I move from B to A, I'm increasing the production of cloth. So now I have to sacrifice more and more rice. So if I'm moving from B to A, opportunity cost of producing cloth increases. B to A. When I'm going from B to A, opportunity cost of producing cloth increases. Then when I'm going from A to B also, can I say the same thing? When I'm going from B to A, opportunity cost of producing cloth is increasing. Then when I'm going from A to B, what is the opportunity cost of producing cloth? Is when I remember this, right? So if when I go, this is why I put this MCQ, right? I want you to be very careful. In an increasing opportunity cost curve, when you're increasing the production of one good, opportunity cost of that increases. So according to my diagram, we are increasing the production of rice. So therefore, the opportunity cost of rice is increasing. On the same side, what happens to the opportunity cost of producing cloth, guys? Opportunity cost of producing cloth decreases because you know why? Opportunity cost of producing cloth increases when you go from B to A. When you go from B to A only, cloth opportunity cost goes up. So then when you're going from A to B, that's the opposite, no? So therefore, the opportunity cost of producing cloth decreases. So which one is your answer? Your answer will be number 1. Did that make some sort of sense? Oh, are you all confused? It's a very tricky MCQ. I don't know if you all ever got it right, but from one of the old past papers, a very tricky one. Something to learn. Safe? No? Confused? Right. I'll leave this for now for a little. I'll come back to this in a while. Right? I want you all to, for that to sink in your head a little. Right? Remember, when you're going from one point to another, if you're increasing the production of one good, okay, I'll explain this itself and move on with, okay, why go to another. Okay, right. We'll think I'll give you a little bit of more points now. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of more points now. There I have given only A and B. So I'll give you, okay, now let's say this is A and B that is in your tube. In your tube, there is A and B. I'll give some other points, X, Y, Z, let's say. Okay, so what is the 2 axes? Which axis is cloth? Cloth is the left side. This is cloth. This is rice. Now they are asking us opportunity cost of moving from A to B. Okay. Yes. Can you tell me when you're moving from A to B? Okay. First of all, when you move from here to here, when you increase rice by an equal amount of, let's say, 10, opportunity cost of cloth is only this much. When you move from here to another one, this point, okay, now your opportunity cost is a little bit more. You're sacrificing a little bit more. So when you're going from A to B now, the third point, right? What's happening? You are sacrificing even more, right? So do you agree when I'm going from A to B, when I'm increasing rice, the opportunity cost is increasing. So now when I'm increasing rice, let's say I have to sacrifice 30 cloth. Earlier, let's say I sacrificed 10 cloth. First, I sacrificed only 5 cloth. So when I'm going from A to going to B, what's happening? Opportunity cost of producing rice increases. What does that mean? What does that mean? Means more clothes has to be sacrificed. Yes, you all agree with me there, guys? When you're going from A to B, now you have to sacrifice more and more clothes. So opportunity cost of producing rice increases. Fine. Then, if you're going from A to B, if you're increasing the production of rice, opportunity cost of rice increases. Then I ask you, what if you're going the other way? What if you're going from B to A? Then what opportunity cost increases? When you're going from B to A, opportunity cost of producing cloth increases. If you go from B to A, opportunity cost of producing cloth increases, right? The opposite, no, guys. A to B යනකොට, when you're going from point A to point B, opportunity cost of producing rice increases. Same way, if you're going from B to A backward, then the opportunity cost of producing cloth increases. Is that part clear? Yes. B to A, opportunity cost of cloth increases. So when I'm going from B to A, opportunity cost of producing cloth increases. Then what is the opposite of this? B to A, opportunity cost of producing cloth increases. Our question is not asking B to A nilamai. Our question is asking A to B. So if B to A it is increasing, when you're going backwards, what happens? The opposite. Opportunity cost of cloth decreases. So when you're going from A to B, on one hand, the opportunity cost of rice is increasing. On the other hand, opportunity cost of cloth is decreasing. That is the story. Yes, B to A means you're sacrificing rice. Correct. If you're going from B to A, you're sacrificing rice. Just take some time and think. It's a good MCQ if you want to learn something. Bit of a tricky one though, not a very direct, easy one. No, B to A means you're sacrificing more and more rice, right? You have to sacrifice more and more rice when you're going from this side. We'll leave it there, right? For now, take some time. I want you all maybe take some time during the week, right? Take some time during the week, and then shall we get back to it? If you are still a little confused, it's a very tricky MCQ for you all to think. Okay, right. Then this one is done. Okay, we'll look at this case. This one is saying, okay, there are 4 PPCs to draw. So there are 4 different situations. Draw and explain how each of the following situations would affect the country's PPC. Take capital goods as the x-axis and consumer goods as the y-axis. Okay. Now see guys, when they tell you in the question to take this as x, this as y, you have to take that. Don't take anything else. Okay. So they are saying, take capital goods as the x-axis. So this has to be capital. If you have taken the other way, wrong. Okay. This has to be consumer. So for all the PPCs, this is consumer, this is capital. Menna metana consumer, this is capital. This is consumer, this is capital. Okay. Now, then they are asking us, explain how each of the following situations would affect the country's PPC. That's what they're asking. So what can we do? There is a PPC like this. Reduction of inefficiencies of production following a change of management. So let's say the country or the firm's management has changed. Now they are having some other management techniques. As a result, they are saying inefficiencies have reduced. What do you think will happen to the PPC? So in other words, they have become more efficient now. Will it shift in or shift out? Reduction of inefficiency. I am not saying inefficiencies have increased. I am saying there has been a change in the management. Management methods have changed. As a result, now inefficiencies have reduced. Now they are more effective. They are working harder, right? They can do more stuff. So what do you think, guys? What is happening? Okay, connect this a little. What's happening over here, guys? The factor productivity is improving, right? Don't you all agree with me? In this situation, factor productivity is improving. Earlier, they were very slow, inefficient, right? They were slow, they couldn't do much. But now management methods have changed. Now they are much faster. So productivity has gone up. How do we show that? What if the factor productivity increases? How do we show that case? By a outward shift of the PP. You can shift the PPC outwards, guys. But one also, guys, see, they're asking for explanation. So you have to write a small line. A small line like what? You can small say, okay, I'll just give you this. I'll anyway be typing and giving you all, guys. You can say a reduction in inefficiencies. A reduction in inefficiencies will improve factor productivity. Will improve factor productivity. As a result, the PPC will shift out. You can say that. Yeah? Explanation doesn't have to be paragraphs. Huh? One nice line explaining is more than enough. Then look at the next one, guys. Point B. Adoption of improved technology in both industries. This one is easy, guys. Quickly tell me. If both the industries use better technology, improved technology. Earlier, they were using some old machines and old techniques. Now they have got new technology. What will happen to PPC? PPC. You can shift out. Okay. The first one once again, right? Okay. Yes. The first one once again, it's arguable, right? Good argument. I was waiting until someone comes, right? The first one, since they are highlighting, right? Since they are highlighting and saying a reduction of inefficiencies, ideally you can say that productivity has improved, so outward shift. Or you can say earlier they were very inefficient and they were producing at a point inside. Now they are moving towards the PPs. You can argue it that way also. That is also somewhat correct over here. Okay? Because I am not very clear on what exactly is happening. You can do that. Both of this you will get a mark for the way that I have worded the question. Okay. Now maybe if, for example, they said only reduction of inefficiencies, you can show a point. But here I'm saying following a change in management. That is why your explanation is important. You can say, given that there is a change in management, now the productivity of the country has gone up. As a result, the PPC will shift back. Okay. So you can argue with both ways. It again comes on how you explain the situation. Is that okay? Okay. Now, right. What can do part C, guys? Inflow of foreign investment to both industries. What if there is more and more foreign investment? What will happen? Simple, no? More and more foreign investment again will shift to the right. Right? That's a very easy one. Yes. How do we show the next one? D. This is C. Improvement in the labor productivity of the capital good industry. So only the capital good industry has had some labor productivity. The capital good industry, maybe, they have given the workers some training more, something like that. And there has been better and better labor productivity. What can you say for this case? How will the PPC shift if this happens? Labor productivity in the capital good industry. Shift how? Shift how? It's not going to be a symmetrical shift. How is it going to shift, guys? It's going to shift like this. Only capital goods will shift right there. Because why? Only the capital good industry, the labor productivity has gone up. So, you go from here to here. And then you can write a small one-line explanation. You can say, as a result of improvement in labor productivity in the capital good industry, now more capital goods can be produced. Hence, the PPC will shift to the right only from the capital good industry. Something like that. You can give in a small line and draw. Now, what I want you all to be very careful with. When drawing a PPC, you have to label the PPCs properly. Okay. So be very careful whenever you draw a PPC. See, have you labeled the consumer good axis, capital good axis? Ideally, you can put a zero over here also. You can put a small zero. And then, okay, if you're showing a shift or something, if you want to be very, very clear, you can label this as PPC1 and you can label this as PPC2. And then you can say it shifts in your explanation, shifts from PPC1 to PPC2 because you know they might cut marks to these small things also. You never know. So you have to be very, very careful. Okay. Now, then you can also right. That I think should be more than enough. Don't just draw two lines and don't do anything. You have to give a small explanation as well. Huh? Otherwise, your answer is not complete because the question says draw and explain how each of the following situations would affect. Not only draw and explain. So, explanation is not a paragraph, just one or two lines. Right. Yes, we'll do question number 3. We'll do question number 3 and 4 and do the rest the next class. Okay, so if I can find some time, we'll do it early or else next Monday also. We are right on time, no problem, no need to hurry. My mind is also all over today with the results coming out. I'm wondering what these fellows have done. Okay. What do you all think, guys? Briefly state the economic effects of the following developments using a production possibility boundary diagram. Okay. Drop in agricultural production as a result of a drought. Now, guys, in this graph, in this question, have I said use this axis as this one and this axis as this one? Have I told x-axis take this goods, y-axis take this goods? I have not told that, right? So then you need to figure out, so what do I take? Do I take x and y? Do I take capital goods, consumer goods? You need to be very careful with the question, guys. Okay. So see, question 1 is saying a drop in agricultural production. That means one axis has to be agricultural production. Other thing in your first one, now all 5 things are not connected to each other. They can be different 5. Okay. So one axis can be agricultural production, right? Agricultural goods. Okay. So maybe then use a little bit of common sense. What is the opposite of agricultural? If it's agricultural, maybe we'll say industrial goods, no? Or let's say manufacturing goods. That doesn't really matter what you put on the other axis. Agricultural goods can be on the this side axis also, right? Because I have not told no use this in this axis. So then you have the freedom. But more freedom is dangerous because you have to then think what to put. So we'll just say this is industrial goods. We'll say this is industrial goods. Even if you all put something else, it's correct, huh? But at least one axis has to be agriculture or agricultural goods or something has to be there. So then there is a PPC, right? Yes. What do you think will happen? There has been a drought and as a result, agricultural production has been affected. What's going to happen? What do you think? Will the PPC shift? Will it move? Will it? What do you think? Again, this is arguable 2 ways, guys, right? So one way you can say this. One way you can say, right, maybe if this drought is a severe one, like a very long, severe drought, okay? So if you say, right, now that all comes in your explanation, okay? So you can say, look here, right, maybe this drought was a severe drought. As a result, what has happened, right? Our land resource has decreased, or you can say land has become unfertile, right? Or whatever thing. As a result, you can say now you know you can't use this land for agriculture. agricultural land has come down because there is a drought. No, you can't plant trees there. So therefore, you can say, look here, the PPC for agricultural goods will shift in. You can say that way. You can also argue another way. You can say this drought is not very severe. It's a temporary thing. Maybe like a small drought for a small period. Next month there will be rain. The land will be back to normal. So maybe you can say that all comes in your explanation. You can say, right? So maybe let's say it's a temporary drought. Temporary drought. So maybe this is the situation. Then you can say, right, it's not going to have a big severe impact. Then what is going to happen? Then, right, I'll draw this in on the side over here since I don't have space, right? Then you can show a point moving inside only from the agricultural side. You can show, you'll show, I'll draw it on this graph, guys. You can, don't draw it here, right? This is agri, no? A parallel point movement like this. Because earlier, let's say you were producing at this point. Okay, let's say earlier you were producing, no, let me draw this more nicely. Hold on, right? So earlier you were producing at this point, right? Point over here. How much? This much of industrial goods, this much of agricultural goods. So now you're producing at this point. Agricultural has fallen. Now you can't, you can't shift it point downward like that. You can't show both the goods falling. Get it? See, when you're going from point A to point B in my diagram, the amount of industrial goods are the same, no? When you have a drought and when the agricultural goods are destroyed, you can't reduce industrial goods, no, man. So you have to show, look here, only agricultural goods have fallen. So maybe it's a temporary drought, something like that. So therefore, it's a parallel line. Is that clear? Don't draw it like this. Don't draw it like this. If you draw it like that, then both industrial and agriculture, both are falling. The drought won't cause industrial to fall. So you draw a parallel line and you have to mention that in your explanation, right? You need to say the drought will only affect the agricultural good industry. As a result, it will be a reduction in the output of only the agricultural industry. So be very careful with things like that. So once again, guys, to quickly summarize, the question is saying there has been a drop in the agricultural production because of a drought. So you can argue this and draw it two ways. If the drought is a severe drought, then you can say, look here, it would have destroyed the land resources. Now we can't do agricultural activities in that land. So the land for agriculture has come down, resources have come down. PPC will shift to the right from the agriculture sector, right? That is the first. Or else you can argue and say, look here, this is a temporary drought. It won't cause much big of an issue. Once rain comes back, you can do. So then what can you say? Then you can draw PPC like what I have drawn in the second graph. Moving of a point inwards from A to B, only showing a fall in the agricultural output. Don't show a fall in the other output. So here also you can use industrial and agriculture, right? You can use anything, but one has to be agriculture. Other one can be anything. Is that clear? Yes. So both of this is A. I'll leave it in one graph. Maybe you can have a small sticky note and paste it there since you all don't have the space. Right. How about B, guys? Power crisis leading to a cut in electricity supply every day. I'll label this as B. So now here, guys, they have not told you what goods, no. So then just go with capital goods and consumer goods. Now there has been an electricity power cut every day. What's going to happen? Not a small power cut, not a power cut for 1 hour, 2 hours. Every day, 5, 6 hours, 10 hours, they are cutting power. What can you do? How can you show this on a PPC? Think and tell me, guys, is the impact a small impact or is it going to be a bad impact? Power crisis leading to a cut in electric supply every day. Is that something small or is that something very serious? It's a bit of a serious thing, no? Has a large impact, right? Daily they are cutting power for, let's say, around 5 hours. So what's happening? Productivity falls, right? Can people work when there is a power cut? Can the factory machines and them operate? Huh. So maybe you can say, right, if it's a thing that is going for a long time every day, right, therefore you can say this will cause a shift in the PPs. Maybe you can say now if the power cut was a temporary thing, it won't be a shift, it will just be a point. But here now, since this is happening every damn day, it's happening. Okay, that means your labor productivity has fallen. But no one's working properly. So that can cause something like a destruction of resources and inwards. So be very careful with the impact that each of these situations make. Okay. Then how about this? This one is easy. Destruction of infrastructure as a result of war. So this is C, capital goods and consumer goods. So there has been a war, now resources have been destroyed. How do you show that on a PPC, guys? Quickly tell me, how do we show this? There has been a war, let's say buildings have been destroyed, people have died, all of that. How do we show that? Very simple, right? That's a inward shift. There has been a war, resources have got destroyed. So now your PPC shifts inwards. You can't produce as much as you were able to produce before. Then D, output increases following the privatization of state enterprises. Right? So we'll put D over here. So what has happened? Capital consumer. Yes, privatizing, we'll learn what is privatizing in unit number 8. Privatizing means when you sell state-owned enterprises, the ones owned by the government, when you sell those to the private sector. So when you sell those to private sector, you know what happens, guys? When you privatize, productivity improves. Now, private sector, now just think, guys, in the government office, some people do nothing, no? So when you privatize it, the private sector, they will fire those people. They will get new machines. They will, train these people, right? They will improve the productivity. That's what happens with privatization. So as a result, guys, if I tell you that the productivity improves, can you tell me which way will the PPC shift then? If there is an improvement in the productivity, PPC will shift outwards, rightward shift of the PPC. Equal shift of both the industries. Right, last one. Implementation of a skill development program for workers in this question is got cut, no? We'll cut this line, we can cut this. In which industries cut it off? Implementation of skill development program for workers. So you're having a skill development program. Very simple. What's going to happen? If you're having a skill development program, PPC will shift outwards, right? Because more and more labor productivity, higher labor productivity, a better production capacity. PPC shifts out. Fine. Any questions, guys? We'll do the fill in the blanks, the small one here, and then we'll finish. Question number 4. Identify the behavior of opportunity cost. Constant increasing or decreasing in each of the following situations. Okay, if X and Y are close substitutes, how do you think the opportunity cost would behave? If good X and Y are both very close substitutes. Close substitutes. Let's say Pepsi and Coca-Cola. If the goods are close substitutes, the resources to produce those goods also might be close substitutes, no? So therefore you can say what? Therefore you can say constant opportunity cost. Okay. Part B, the number of units of X that has to be sacrificed to produce number of units of Y that has to be sacrificed to produce which is a unit of X remains constant. This is the definition for what? This is also talking about constant opportunity cost. The number of units of Y that has to be sacrificed to produce a unit of X remains constant. Constant. වචනෙන්ම තියෙනවනේ. PPC is a straight line. Then what is it? Constant. PPC is a straight line is also constant. This one, supply curves of both goods are horizontal straight lines. Yes, usually how is the supply curve? Supply curve for a good is usually upward sloping. Okay, upward slope. Usually, supply curve is upwards. Remember in unit number 2, we learned one reason. Why is the supply curve upward sloping, or why is the law of supply there? Because of increasing marginal opportunity cost, right? So if there's increasing opportunity cost, supply curve will be upward sloping, because suppliers will say, only if you increase the price, I will increase my supply, because to increase my supply, I have to sacrifice more and more of the other good. So only if the price increase to cover that cost, I will increase the supply. Remember unit number 2. So then, now here I am not saying something like that. I am not saying that the supply curve is upward sloping. I am saying that the supply curve is horizontal straight line, something like this. So the producer is willing to supply more and more units at the same price. What do you think that denotes? Definitely not increasing opportunity, because if it was increasing opportunity cost, supply curve would be upward sloping. This also, guys, is constant. Okay, right? Constant opportunity. Then what about E? Fixed costs are an important part of the production of both the goods. What is this connection with fixed costs and this thing? Yes. What is the cost? Yes, fixed costs are the cost that doesn't change with the level of output. Clear? Yeah. Okay. What is the cost that changes with the level of output? What is that for? The cost that changes with the level of output. That's called variable cost. No, the more and more you produce, if you have to incur more and more, that's called a variable cost. Yes. Now they are saying fixed cost is an important part. That means fixed cost is a major part of production of both the goods. Yes. Then now fixed cost is the cost that does not change with the level of output. So whenever I am producing more and more and more, my cost doesn't increase much, because fixed cost doesn't change. You know, let's say for example, right? If I'm producing 100 units, let's say my total cost is 1,000. From this 1,000, 900 is fixed cost, 100 is variable cost. Let's say I'm producing 200 units. When I'm producing 200 units, my total cost is, let's say, 1,300. Fixed cost is 900, variable cost is 400. So can you see, when I'm producing more and more and more, my total cost doesn't increase much. Why? Because there is a big fixed cost component. Now this is connected to unit number 4. Okay, these questions are a little hard, right? It's not just unit number 1. You have to know a little bit of unit number 2. For part D, you need to know 2. For part E, you need to know unit number 4. That's why it's a revision class. There's no point doing baby questions. Then what can we say? If fixed costs are an important part, just think, guys, this can ideally be, right? Either you can say constant, or you can even say decreasing opportunity. The opportunity, because the more and more you produce, your cost increases only a very little. Therefore, you can say constant or decreasing opportunity cost, not increasing it. Is that okay? Shape too hard, confusing. Okay, right. So we'll call it a day there, guys. Next class, we'll go through these parts, and I have couriered your unit number 2 papers also yesterday, today. You all should get it tomorrow or day after. We'll see. Maybe next class we'll start unit number 2, or we'll try to finish this paper, see if there are any other doubts that we have from unit number 1 and wrap those up. We'll see, depending on what we'll do. So for now, finish this paper if you have not finished it, and go through focus area, the next focus area for unit number 2. The printed papers were sent today, should get it tomorrow. Okay, right. With that, we'll wrap it up, and I'll see you all theory class people and everyone. We are starting a new unit in our theory class this Wednesday, unit number 5. First class can be will be free. Anyone can come and join and learn. Unit number 5 is a bit of a tricky unit. Okay, in theory class we'll go very slow from scratch. Okay, so see you and have a nice day, guys. See you all. Bye bye.